go up to the movies and see a monster movie.
Shout out all my C-section babies.
If you can relate to this film on any level whatsoever, you're a screwed up individual.
The meme of the guy minding diamonds and then,
Yeah. Anyways, hello and welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, where we talk movies on here monthly, bi-weekly, something like that. We come and go. Today we're talking about Frankenstein, for the most part. The new Guillermo del Toro film starring Oscar Isaac. We're going to talk about the story, the style, the characters. We're going to talk a little bit about a comparison to the original Frankenstein from 1931. I happen to like that film, so you take a look at both of these films and you just marvel over 100 years of cinema, a century of cinema, if you will. After that, we're going to take a look at our, at Studio24, our production company, look at some of the things that we've been doing. And we're going to start by doing some 30-second conversations about some new films that have come out. So, welcome to the Real Talk Podcast.
Glad to be back in the Real Talk Podcast arena. Glad to be back sitting across you. Last time on camera, it was me and you. There's perhaps something secretive going on behind the scenes with me and Dalton, but we'll get to that. You'll see that eventually, one day. Like an archaeologist will unearth it, and we'll see that. But I'm happy to talk about 30-second quick thoughts. Do you have any shout that outs first, though?
Shout that out. I'm going to shout out a movie that is going to be in my 30-second talk, Die My Love. Not going to say too much about it because I'm about to talk about it. But first I'll just say, this is a film that people aren't really liking, but I loved it. So you can go to our other channel, Studio24, where I have done a video essay breakdown on the film itself. So, Die My Love, Lynn Ramsey directed the film, starring Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence. Amazing movie.
All right. So you're going against the grain there a little bit with your like for it.
I am.
All right. Shout that out to me. It's not even, I don't know, it feels a little unrelated, but kind of tied in with literary stuff. Shout out all my C-section babies. We are the McDuffs of the world. Gonna leave it at that. Let's talk about 30-second thoughts.
I'm one too.
You too? We got double McDuff on the podcast, baby. Shout out all my C-section babies. 30-second thoughts. Let's go.
I guess C-section baby semi-ties into Frankenstein, but whatever. Die My Love, 30 seconds. I'm going to say this about the film. It's a very artful film, and in today's world, artful films usually do amazing. This one did not. I think it's a really effed up love story, and maybe explores just what the psyche is like when you have love and you're just still miserable in your life. I think if you can relate to this film on any level whatsoever, you're a screwed up individual and you need help, but you'll probably love the movie like I did.
Okay. Does that conclude your thoughts?
That's it.
In 30 seconds. Okay. You want to continue? Or?
Yeah, I'll do my next one.
Okay.
I recently watched Black Phone for the first time. I'm going to catch up and watch the second one. I'm just a little behind. I thought Black Phone was a really fun movie. Well, maybe it wasn't a amazing movie. I think, who's the guy who plays the villain?
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. Yeah, I think Ethan Hawke's awesome, and he kind of makes this movie. And the story with the kids and all of the phone calls, just kind of leading up to the moment at the end, thought it was really well written. And I feel like sometimes in horror films, you miss those really strong screenplays, and I just thought this was one of them.
I watched it for the first time last month in October, because I was going on a horror movie binge and stuff like that. But since those were your two films for 30-second thoughts, I'll start off with the sequel to The Black Phone, The Black Phone 2, starting right now. The Black Phone 2, I think, is a worthy sequel to the first movie, while also managing to be different. It's not just like a rehash or anything like that. It deals with certain things that are established in the first movie, like the grabber and whatnot, and if you've seen the trailer, you know it's harkening back a little Nightmare on Elm Street-ish, but it's also kind of got like a Friday the 13th, because they're at a little summer camp, or a winter camp in this case, type of deal, and it makes for a cool little sequel that also has a bit of a perspective change with our main character, which I think was really neat. And that's my 30-second thoughts on The Black Phone 2. So, I guess I have another one. Since we started off Die My Love, Black Phone double feature on 30 Seconds Thoughts, we're going to jump to another movie. I've recently seen Predator Badlands, and my thoughts for that will begin now. I'm not a guy who's seen all the Predator movies. Before walking into the theater to see Predator Badlands, I'd only seen the animated movie Predator Killer of Killers with cameraman Dalt. We both liked that. I honestly just saw this movie on a whim, just cause. It was like one of two movies playing at this theater that I saw it at, and it was the better choice between the two, I imagine. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was really badass and really cool. Shout out to whoever did the musical score on that. And that's my 30-second thoughts on Predator Badlands.
You went over to see
I went over 8 seconds on that one.
No, we just flew through that segment, though. It's kind of a new segment that we're adding to the podcast. You know, this is a very film and filmmaking centered podcast. And I think that's a really fun way to just talk about the movies that we've seen.
Talk about
recently.
the movies that we've seen. Talk about new releases that aren't getting like an episode dedicated to them or something like that. I think it's just a fun way to keep it going with the movie stuff, because even if we have an episode where we're not talking about a movie stuff, where we're maybe talking about like stories from our own little ventures of filmmaking and stuff like that, it can be a way to be like, well, here's some movies we've seen recently, and maybe even tie it into what we're talking about.
Right. So, really like that new segment. I think in the future I'll have more movies to throw in, but I've been watching so much One Piece that I haven't seen as many films. For One Piece fans out there, I'm in Marineford, so I'm like eating really good right now, and so I can't watch movies. But we'll go ahead and take this conversation into the film of the day, and what I think could be the film of the later part of 2025. I think films kind of take over sections of a year.
Yes.
And early in the year we had Superman. Like the summer film was Superman.
Yes.
And I think it even like overshadowed like Fantastic Four, which got really big as well. So like summer you kind of had superhero movies. Earlier in the year we had the beginning of the year started okay. Like, I really liked Wolfman in the beginning of the year, but I know that was no one else's, like, big movie of the beginning of 2025.
I feel like the beginning of 2025 was maybe a little more TV dominant.
Yeah, I could totally agree with that.
Because you had, like, Andor and Severance and stuff like that come out then.
And then, like, the end of 2024 in TV was really good with, like, Invincible and The Boys and that kind of stuff. But Frankenstein, I feel like an idea that I brought up in the intro, this is Frankenstein a century later.
Yeah.
This is, I think, 90, and I haven't done the math here, but 96 years?
I think it's more like 94.
94, no, you're totally right. 94 years since the original Frankenstein, and there have been countless remakes over the years, but I think a lot of people just kind of go back to the original when thinking about Frankenstein. Have you ever seen the 1931 movie?
I've not, but I have seen Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet Frankenstein. So
so you've pretty much seen the 1931 movie.
Pretty much.
I am somebody who, like, I respect the 1931 film, because, I mean, it kind of invents the creature feature. I know there are other originals, like the original Wolfman and like the Invisible Man and that kind of stuff, but I think in a lot of ways it invented the creature feature and popularized the horror icon. The movie itself is okay, but in today's terms, I'm sure in 1931 that was like the moment of someone's life sitting there watching that. But
a child watched that movie and went on to be inspired to make other movies.
Oh, surely. It's an awesome movie. It just falls a little bit flat in today's horror scene. This new film, however, I don't think falls flat at all. And I've seen people calling it long and slow. I think that's just a today's attention span kind of thing, though.
Yeah. I think a long movie, any movie that is over, and sometimes I catch myself doing it, but it's more like I'm going into a movie like, I don't think this movie should be 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then sometimes it really justifies that runtime. And when it doesn't, I'm always like, it was a little long. But going into Frankenstein, I was like, it's what, like a 2 hour, 40 minute affair type deal?
I think so.
But yeah, I feel like anytime a movie exceeds 2 hours, people start to complain. And then if it exceeds 2 hours and 30 minutes or reaches 2 hours.
2:30. 2:29.
Anything like 2:30 and above now, people are like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm also a long movie fan, especially if it's entertaining.
I fall victim to it sometimes. Sometimes I won't watch a movie for it being too long. But I always end up watching the movie and being like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad I watched this."
Yeah, it's the filmmakers. It's like the meme of the guy minding diamonds, and then
Yeah. Anyways, the diamond threw me off there. I just went back to the mines in my head.
Went back to the earlier bit of the year with the Minecraft movie?
Dude, I did travel back to the Minecraft movie. I guess that definitely had an impact on 2025 cinema as well. But we'll go ahead and dive into Frankenstein here. The style of the movie is the first thing you've got written down in our notes. And I regret now, but I have not seen any other Guillermo del Toro films.
Really?
Yeah, I want to watch Pan's Labyrinth really bad. But yeah, I just know of his style, and even in school, in film school, we looked at his style. I'm very aware of his movies and style, but Hazel kicks me for not watching his movies. I'm aware of his style, but this movie, I know he does the long moving takes, so his camera's moving all the time, so when you do cut to the static shots, like, they're very impactful and emotional. Yeah, just thought it was awesome. The hyper-realistic, sharp look and colors, thought he retold this story really well while taking aspects from, the original movie and the book.
Yeah. For me, Guillermo del Toro, when it comes to, his style of film, it's always in, the background details in the set as well. He's always going to have, if you need something, gothic looking, he's got you covered. Or you need, something extravagant looking. His eye for, a set is really good. And I've not seen him. I've only seen a few. I've seen Hellboy. And maybe I've seen another film, but the only two that come to mind are Hellboy and Pinocchio. And Pinocchio's an animated film.
Right.
But it still has that eye of his. And I think in an interview somewhere, he's talked about how, Catholicism has influenced his eye for certain things and whatnot. Because if you look at Catholicism, there's a lot of art around it and, architecture and stuff and a gothicness and even a brutality to some of it that you can see within his films.
Yeah, I'll say, and shameless plug here, our main channel, Studio24, I've got a Frankenstein video coming out where I'm comparing the new movie to the old movie and the book. So Definitely go check that out. And I make a point in that where I'm pretty much talking about the sets and how good this movie looks. I think the Arctic looks amazing, and the ship looks amazing that they're on when they're hunkered down in there in the ending.
Yeah.
The Arctic is a story that's cut out of the original film, but that's from the book.
Okay.
So that's a really cool piece of the movie. Frankenstein's tower and the storm that they're in during like the
birth of
what's
Frankenstein?
originally He's Alive scene.
Yeah.
I thought that scene looked amazing, but every location you're in looks good.
I'll tell you what, and I know it probably has to happen in the movie. I was pissed off when Oscar Isaac, Victor Frankenstein, just blows his cool-ass mansion up. Like, that tower, I'm like, dude, you kind of had the pimpest house of all time, and you're just going to blow it up like that? Okay. I mean, I get it.
We can kind of walk into the story off that note.
Yeah.
I think that's a point in the movie where he's going absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked the story because in a way it felt like this is all familiar, but I still don't exactly know what all is going to happen.
Yeah. I
and
understand what you mean.
You get to the ending, and the ending is different from the book and the original movie as well. So I thought the story was fresh, but it did not betray any of the material that came before it.
Yeah, I like the way it was presented. I like how you start off and it's like, here's our setup.
Yeah.
And then once you get into like the captain's quarters per se of the ship, that's where we get presented Victor Frankenstein, aka the father's half of this story. And then that kind of wraps up and we get the son, aka Frankenstein monster's half of the story.
You get
which
Victor's tale and then the monster's tale. And the movie is split into two parts. And like we open up on the classic, like we're going to open you up right into the battle and then catch you up later.
Yeah.
Oh, the movie's just so good in a classic way like that. But it is our modern Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I you know, to kind of move to characters, what do you think about Frankenstein's look?
Dude, I see people talking about the look of Frankenstein in a negative way, and I've also seen a lot of positive. I think he looks just like a more refined version of the original. I'm glad they put him in tattered clothing, besides having him wear a big-ass suit.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the hell put him in this big-ass suit? Did you have Igor do it? Because I know Henry Frankenstein from the original doesn't go put him in a big-ass black suit. Like, it's the dumbest looking thing.
It's like, iconic, but makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
I was gonna say, to be fair, he is digging parts up out of a graveyard, so he was probably like already...
The suit just came with the body parts,
so,
yeah.
Like, when he was buried, but just a thought I had.
Maybe, yeah, I'm sure you're right about that.
I like the
but
tattered
this
clothes
Frankenstein comes, I guess, and I don't know if we really get this answer much from the original, but they're like, I think more parts of other people in this Frankenstein.
Oh, definitely so, because he's like kind of going to like places where battles were held.
Yeah.
And just mining cadavers from like the dead of these battles and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And kind of like low-key realistic. Because like in this version, I feel like in the not having seen the 1931 version, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Please do. It's more of the mad scientist vibe.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's got like the crazy hair. And he's like, it's alive! It's alive! And all that. But with this, with Oscar Isaac's version, it's more like he's a scientist of the 1800s. Which to us is kind of mad scientist-esque. But to them, it's like, this dude's a man of science.
Right.
And feels a little more realistic in that sense. And whatnot. Is that accurate? Did in the OG movie, he's mining from a graveyard, did you say?
Yeah, so I think this is my answer for you. And it's something... I'll just give you this as an answer because it's like yes and no. Back in the day, they would play with this idea, and you still see it done in films like Ex Machina, but just like science versus God, or science playing God. And in the original film, I think he says something along the lines, and in my video, I've got it right, I know. And he's like, I can feel the power of God.
Yeah,
essentially,
the kind of folly of man trying to imitate God.
Yes, he is very much so imitating God. And that's Henry Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein in this movie says that he is righting the wrongs of God. So he is playing this more aid to God type character where he thinks, through science, I've dug up this supernatural state of being, and I'm the one who can right God's wrongs because I'm just so damn smart.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean there. I see what you mean. That's pretty neat. The kind of dichotomy there.
Yeah, and I think it maybe dives into like some more of the father-son type relationship where he's like, even though I'm so smart and I have this ability to right God's wrongs. Like that still didn't like provide me with the right human social skill set tools to like create life.
And you're talking about in the Guillermo del Toro version, right?
Yeah, for that statement.
Within the whole father-son thing of the Guillermo del Toro version, I will say he is more of the I am seeing myself more as an aid to God, more of someone who can like fix the mortality that God gave us, even though it's a feature and not a bug. And I think that's kind of one of the points of the film is like, there's a reason we have it, because like at the end, I'm pretty sure the monster is a little bit like, I kind of want to die. And off of the whole Frankenstein wanting to die part in the father and son, I think it ties into where Victor Frankenstein kind of gets to see humanity through the lens of God, through the monster he's made, because in a way, he's created a new life, just like God did when God created the universe and humanity and all that. Victor Frankenstein creates this monster, but whereas God gave us mortality and all that, he gave this monster immortality.
Yeah.
And kind of in the end gets to see that. But just like us as humanity managed to find the beauty in mortality, at the end the monster finds the beauty in his immortality and kind of like... It's kind of like a flip, like a mirror image, like this man tries to aid God and kind of becomes his own twisted version of it.
That is cool. I think before we leave the characters section, I just have a couple of things I want to say about the characters. I find it very, very interesting that the original film, in the book he's Victor Frankenstein,
Mm-hmm.
in the new movie he's Victor Frankenstein, in the 1931 film he is Henry Frankenstein.
Which, is that his... Forgive me for being fuzzy on the... Is that his brother in the modern film? Or...
His brother's name is William.
Okay.
And because I thought the same thing. But they changed the name in 1931 because they thought American audiences wouldn't connect with someone named Victor. And so they changed it to Henry. I thought that was really interesting. And then there's a character that's missing from the new film. Oh. Big Igor. His the classic mad scientist sidekick, kind of replaced by the investor.
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz, who said Heinrich, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
But he is kind of set up as this investor. He gives Frankenstein the tower. He wants him to go through with the project, and then he drops the ball of like, hey, I'm dying. I need you to like do this to me.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a twist that just made this story stronger than the original. Like, this plot is layered. Everybody has their own motivations. Because there's a seed where he's like, yeah, no, I'm going to give you all the money to do this. I might ask a favor of you later.
Yeah.
And kind of due to the nature of them meeting in the courtroom where he's trying to, like, present his science to...
Kind of like a medical board.
Yeah, he's trying to present his science to the system, and, get this government approved to, keep moving forward, maybe even funded. And he meets this guy who just kind of buys into him, and you're like, he's going to ask him for some kind of, like, poetical favor or some kind of, like, use Victor's science to backstab somebody poetically. That's what I thought. I was not expecting, like, oh, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. That's all I have to really say about the characters, though.
I like that twist as well.
And I think, like, through some of my thoughts there, I've already compared this to the OG enough. What I do want to kind of talk about is the Arctic plot and how that kind of relates in the book. I'm not sure if the book starts out with it in the, like, kind of movie pacing format.
Yes.
Like the new movie does. But in the book, Frankenstein, the ending is very similar. He finds Victor on the boat, and he ends up sailing away, like, on an iceberg, I'm pretty sure, on, like, a piece of ice. He just gets on it and kind of sets off to go kill himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was like, holy crap, kind of shocking. I like that they go with the immortality twist, kind of, because this Frankenstein regens.
Yeah, he's got a Wolverine healing factor going on, yeah.
Thought that was super interesting, not something the original Frankenstein has, because the original Frankenstein, he gets burned up in the windmill in the original movie. So, like, he really doesn't see a decent ending at all in the original movie. He just gets burned down because he got a little violent.
He gets killed because he's a monster.
The town folk kill him because he's a monster, exactly. So, thought the characters were just written a lot better. In this movie, I think cinema's just evolved a lot in not only our technical skill, but in our writing skill as well.
For sure. I mean, over 100 years, like 100 years ago, we were definitely working with more of the archetypical epic type thing. And now we've gone on so far, it's like, well, let's break it down in a way. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it's fun to track that sort of thinking. That's one of the things I like to do, is track, like, we go from here to here to be, and it, like, ping pongs all around. And sometimes it just comes straight up full circle.
Yeah.
So,
I think it just shows that audiences have matured a lot. Like, cinema goers have matured a lot in what they want to see. And so now we can tell these more elaborate stories. As in 1931, it's like, You go up to the movies and see a monster movie.
Well, I mean, in 1931, it's also pioneering the art form itself.
Right.
Like, I think, at that point, we just started talking in movies, essentially.
Right, yeah. But do you have any final, overall thoughts about Frankenstein? I think we've covered the film fairly well.
Yeah. Overall, I liked it. And then kind of finding the whole twisted god Victor Frankenstein parallel in there with the monster at the end just having to accept his life. And I think that's a very beautiful thing, because it's also he is life created from death that now cannot die, yet he wanted to, but in the death of his father he's realized he has to move on from that and kind of accept the beauty of life there at the end. I like that it doesn't end and it's well, here's Frankenstein going off onto his own. No, it's literally just him looking at the sun in the Arctic and kind of being life is beautiful.
Sun rises no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, I really liked the ending there. And I don't know, overall Frankenstein's look, it was different, but I grew to like it for this rendition.
I did too. I thought the tattered look just very much spoke to this version of the character.
I missed the square head, but I'll accept it. The square head, I don't know, for me I like that flat top of head he had back in the day.
I mean, I think that speaks to, Frankenstein being the OG horror icon. everybody loves that look on Frankenstein. Everybody expects that look on
But
Frankenstein.
the suit, I'll agree with you there. It is a little goofy.
The big ass suit, funny.
He's also a little bit more sympathetic too with this look as well. Like, you don't maybe feel as sorry for the creature in the original film as you do this guy.
Yeah.
You're totally right. You don't feel bad for the original creature, but when this Frankenstein, or this monster, is like chained up and Victor's beating the hell out of them and Elizabeth comes down, and when he's shown like a little bit of compassion, he starts like furthering his language skills.
In a superficial way, the modern Frankenstein kind of has pretty privilege. OG Frankenstein, ugly as sin. The new one kind of looked like Jacob Elordi in a way, so you're kind of like, oh, I feel bad.
I think he's still pretty ugly.
I mean, he got an ugly mug, but there's like a dude there. You can see a face. You can make out a face and be like, oh man, if he just maybe took a bath and trimmed that ratty ass hair.
Dude, back in the 30s, man, them girls were steaming for that OG blockhead Boris Karloff.
OG Minecraft Steve Frankenstein.
Man, Boris Karloff was the man back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not to be overlooked.
All right. I stand corrected.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about
What do you score Frankenstein?
Like an 8.5.
I'm like right there with you, 8.5. Yeah. I don't know. Guillermo del Toro just makes a good film. I recommend Pinocchio, by the way.
Okay. I'm going to watch more Guillermo del Toro films. Comment your favorite. Let me know what I should start with. I'm thinking about starting with Pan's Labyrinth.
That seems like a thing that's right up your alley. But Pinocchio might be slept on. It is a beautiful movie.
I've heard it's good, so I am excited to get there.
It's really beautiful and gothic, just like all of his other stuff. Before we get to kind of our ending wrap-up segments, do we need to talk about somebody? Somebody very important to this podcast?
Somebody like Dubby?
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Guess it's time to do a little business. Are you tired of the jitters from coffee or spending way too much money on your favorite gas station energy drink that isn't even that good for you? Well, you got to try Dubby. Now that I've had my Dubby, I'm locked in, I'm ready to go. I'm drinking Dragonade today, but they have plenty of other flavors such as Tiger's Blood, S'mores, Mango Orange Cream. They'll have one just for you. And the best part about it is, you can get 10% off your jitterless caffeine supply today by going to Dubby and using code Studio24Dubby. That's right. You can get 10% off your entire jitterless caffeine supply and help support this show by using code Studio24Dubby. That's right. Don't sleep on Dubby. Always thankful for our partner Dubby. And coming back in, it's time for some real talk here with Studio24. What's the real talk today?
Absolutely, man. I want to talk about, real talk. We usually dive into like our personal lives, but I want to kind of stay on topic here with my real talk. I've been resurged and brought back to life for a bit. I had gotten down on my filmmaking journey, maybe, just a little bit, with like just a lack of finding a job and, just failing so many times really put me down. But I've just seen so many things. So it was a damn clip of Seth Rogen that brought me back to life, where he was just like, yeah, all the people I know who have like made it in the filmmaking industry or the content creation industry or whatever it be, entertainment, are just the people who never gave up.
Never say die.
Yeah, he was just like anyone I know who didn't give up, finally found success at some point. But it's like, then you have the people who gave up. So I've been really inspired by that. And me and Dalton have, really been working to get some filmmaking going again. It's been almost 2 years. I think maybe it has been 2 years since we shot a film, 1 year since we released a film. And it's just, we got to a point where we didn't want to make films that weren't worth making anymore.
Yeah.
But we do have a film written and shot listed and casted, and we're almost done with the pre-production side of it. We're going to be making, like, I'm not going to say too much about it. It'll be a clown horror film starring my nephew, who has been in some of our stuff before. I really like working with children when it comes to filmmaking. I think they are, in a way, so much easier to be like, hey, let's pretend this is happening, and just, like, drown in it, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, what's...
Because a kid doesn't have that part of their brain that's like, oh, I look stupid.
Or like, oh, this is cringy. Or it's just like... And Rhett, my nephew, too, he's just such a brilliant child. Like, he's good at everything he does. So I'm so excited to make a film with him. I'm really excited. You can obviously tell that I love my nephew. I think he's awesome. I'd probably say he was good at stuff if he wasn't good at it. But he is a great little actor, though. He's been in a film before. Other than that, so we've got this film that we're going to be shooting soon, and we're going to maybe like track our progress on our other channel. So you'll be able to see some like document footage of that. And then, not that I can really say much at all about this venture, but we will be making another music video, and might even get to leave the state for that and go on a little business trip. So not going to say much about that at all, but it's been, you know, a resurgence in some like, you know what, this going to see through. So if you're doing something out there, just keep doing it. Like, don't give up. That's my real talk for the day. It's like, don't let anyone let you give up. And don't let anyone make you give up. And if someone doubts you, fucking screw them, man. That's just what I've been on here lately. A little bit of hope I've made myself give myself, in a way. That's my real talk.
Hope Core Edit Kale.
Yep.
Hope Core Edit Kale. That's some good shit. That's some good shit. I know I want to get back into things. Having a job change and trying to get back into the flow of things after like settling into the job has been tough. But I'm always
I went through
like
the same thing when I changed
I'm always
jobs.
just like trying to spin a bunch of plates, because it's like I'll be doing this podcast, and then like I also like to make those like little edits with music and stuff. So like I'll have an idea pop out of there. I'm like, don't close the window on the podcast. You got to get some stuff done here first, and then we're gonna minimize that and get like all the stuff that you have set up here. So like I don't know. I just try to spin a lot of plates. I know a question that I have for you, and I'm gonna ask it on the podcast now, just because I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also kind of early stages of trying to embark on this journey myself. So I know you're already well into it. And you've mentioned it on the podcast before. The last time you mentioned, I think you said you were like 20 pages away. And you are now, with at least a first draft, of a feature film script.
Absolutely.
And I've read the first draft, and I know me and you talked about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've talked with Dalt yet about it.
That boy hadn't finished that mug.
But how's that coming along?
You know, we talked about a problem that you maybe had with the script, and it was like, it's a very small part of the movie, but it's just a character relationship. And I've worked that out. And I now need to just go back and make edits to the scenes this character is in and change the dynamic there. So I think I'm about a month away from submission and the Nashville Film Festival. Maybe 2 months. I'd have to
Is that
look.
when like the main submission window
It's
opens?
like the early submissions.
Okay.
It's like the cheapest I can get it in there for.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, no, the feature film is done. Like the first draft is done. The second draft, I wouldn't call this the first draft. I didn't send you guys the first draft. Like I probably sent you guys.
It's
like,
the first draft I read.
Yeah. I called it the first draft too, but it was probably like more of like a third or fourth type because I'd gone through it a couple times before I sent it to you guys. But feature film's going great. Can't wait to maybe see where opportunities lie there, because I think it's a script that people, especially people in the area we live in, could really get behind and could sell, because, you know, films are just kind of starting to surge up in Nashville a little bit. A lot of the main plot takes place in Nashville. Your characters are from Nashville.
I think we need something in Nashville that's good.
I do too.
And
I do
think
too.
Your idea is like better than most, because I remember, didn't the 911 Nashville show
It's tanked. Like, people are saying it's so bad that, like,
it's like, dog, we need something real. You know, something good.
And not to say anything bad about that show, because I haven't even seen it. I've just heard horror stories of, like, people who worked on it and people who watch it, so.
Oh, great. But I just wanted to ask, because I was, like, early ideas for something like that.
Yeah.
So, and every time my mind wanders, I'm like, when am I going to get to read another version of that? I'm looking forward to it, because I was like, I want to see what you cooked up in the meantime and whatnot. But I think that's some real talk on Real Talk, and of course, that means we're at the end of an episode. Thank you all for watching. Please go ahead, subscribe, like this podcast, stay tuned. Go check out Kale's videos on the main channel as well. Hopefully we can get some more stuff, because I've had some ideas for things too. I just got to find a way to spin all those plates the right way. But stay tuned for more Real Talk podcast with Studio24. Until next time.